It's intimidating when you're suddenly on a new set with a new bunch of characters, and actors who you've not worked with before. And again, that's sort of true to what Nate's going through at the moment with joining West Ham and feeling he has something to prove.
Ted Lasso season 3 is at the halfway point, only 6 episodes remaining. So what can you tease about Nate's character for these next 6 episodes?
Well, I can say that, this latter half of season 3, it's slightly more loaded towards, Nate a little bit, that he, I think we've seen Nate up until now, apart from maybe episode 1 and 4 when Richmond and West Ham played, he's just been out on a limb. He's been on his own for quite a lot. And, rightly so, he's obviously at West Ham now. So I think, what we've realized is that Nate isn't happy. I think that he possibly thought he was going to be happy by moving to this fancy club and getting a fancy car and so on. And the prestige which kind of comes with that and getting the attention on social media. But I think he's very quickly realized that those things haven't made us happy. And so what Nate needs to do now is a lot of soul searching to address the sort of the deep seated insecurities that have made him who he is and, possibly contributed towards a lot of wrong decisions in his life. So I think we can anticipate unfinished business with Ted, with Richmond, with his dad, even. And so, yeah, that's, he's flirting with relationships, and, he's craving that and some kind of support network in his life. So, yeah, we're going to probably see a bit more of that.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because with Nate, even though he kind of plays up to that villainous character when he's with West Ham, you still see the old Nate where he's kind of not sure of himself. He still is sincere and nice. And we saw that not too long ago when he went on that date. So how has it been balancing the Nate of West Ham and the old Nate we've seen the last 2 seasons?
Well, it's a constant dance, really. And I think that for me as an actor is always sort of one of the challenges to try and, make it believable. And, because there are elements of Nate's personality which are quite goofy and, he's quite clumsy and, deliberately very comical. But sort of balancing that with the more emotional, more dramatic side to him has been, look, I've just had the writing is phenomenal. So it's always there in the writing, but just having had lots of coaching from Jason and the great team of directors that we have and creators on the show who are always there on hand and just making sure that there's an authenticity to it and it doesn't feel like this is just a guy with multiple different personalities and so we can feel that we can sort of feel one in the other. So often he'll present a front, but actually we can also see that internal struggle going on at the same time.
And speaking of Jason, you got to work with him closely on screen for the last 2 seasons. And this season, as you mentioned, you're kind of on your own. So you're not really with the cast members as much as you were in season 1 and season 2. So how much did you miss working with the rest of the cast for really this season?
Oh, tons. And I tried to use as much of that feeling of loneliness and abandonment as possible, because that's what Nate is feeling, really. He's out on a limb and a fish out of water. So yeah, there was, and it's intimidating when you're suddenly on a new set with a new bunch of characters, and actors who you've not worked with before. And again, that's sort of true to what Nate's going through at the moment with joining West Ham and feeling he has something to prove. So I tried to use as much of that to make it feel authentic. But look, Jason was always on hand there for those scenes anyway. But yeah, it meant that whenever there's a scene like in episode 4, that scene in the lift between the two of them, and it's quite a short scene, but that felt like an absolute gift. I was like, oh, I get to do a scene with Jay. That was that was quite emotional in a weird way.
Absolutely. Well, I'm looking forward to these last 6 episodes. Nick, thank you so much for your time. I really do appreciate it. Oh yeah, continued success to you.